Hello, this is PG, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing VRising on Steam. The game is also on PS5. VRising is a vampire survival game developed and published by Stunlock Studios. VRising sees you play as a vampire attempting to regain their powers. So what's the game like to play? Well, once you've been woken from your slumber, you can create your own visual style and then you're off into the open world. The first thing you'll need to do is find a home where you can build a coffin and rest your tired bones. To do this, you'll need to gather resources, and I'd say most resource gathering in this game is quite light in terms of what you actually have to do. There's an abundance of stuff around most of the time, but if you're not a survival game fan, you will probably grow tired of this within an hour or so. So being a vampire, the sunlight is not your friend, so you'll be mostly out during the nights and spending the days in and around your castle or dashing in and out of the shadows. And it's that daylight travel, albeit quite dangerous. It's actually quite fun as you do sort of use the weather, the shade and things to actually stay alive. Health can be replenished with potions, you can drink the blood of poor old locals, and you can use vampire powers to turn the tide in combat, and you can unlock a lot more of these things and spells as you consume special blood. There's a plethora of weapons available, but again, they've got to be crafted with resources that you need to use in order to make more crafting stations to make more weapons, and that loop will continue until you either get really good or get really bored. Now, you can craft on the fly, but they're all basic items. Most of it will happen at the base, and this is where VRising, I would say, becomes a bit tiresome and a bit boring. Who'd have thought being a vampire would be so admin heavy? VRising Admin Edition. Yes, you can get help along the way, but this was not what Dracula saw for his kin, let me tell you. You may as well go work as a trader on a stall and sweep out horse manure. It's quite boring, but yeah, base building is featured. It's nice and decorative if you want, but I would say most of this is a purely vanity project type experience. If you don't really care what your house looks like, it's not really going to make any difference. Now, in time, you'll progress through the acts, you'll unlock new vampire powers, as I said. You can transform into creatures, and I'd say the boss fights, challenging because it's a survival game, but they're quite interesting. One thing I really liked was the game world. It's broken down into little regions, it's got a day-night cycle, and that's particularly relevant because it's very dangerous, obviously, in the days at first. And it feels like a living, breathing place with characters wandering around, fights breaking out. You'll often just stumble upon lots of loot from dead bodies, and you're like, what the hell happened here? And that's really cool because it feels living, and that makes the game world feel much more immersive. Now the game, it has PvP. Personally, I didn't bother. I played it solo, but even if you're playing solo, it's always online. It's one of those, and that does negatively impact your performance, let me tell you. One other thing to note, I played it with a controller on PC because they've added controller support. I would say it's very well implemented. Visually, the game looks pretty nice for the most part, although the performance, like I said, was pretty bad. It's online, so there's frame rate drops, there's screen freezes, there's blah 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 online gaming nonsense that no one really wants. So yeah, performance wise, it is not great. Inventory and the building menus, though, I'd say were nicely presented, very easy to follow even for a PC game. Sound too, I thought was very suitable, nice music, nice effects. Okay, verdict. VRising is an interesting idea, taking the sort of Diablo-esque type experience and shaping it into a survival game for vampires. The only issue is, vampires are supposed to be cool, scary, and even sexy creatures, but here you just feel like an admin assistant with an overwhelming and time-consuming array of nonsense to do, like hoover up resources, build a building that's irrelevant, craft 7,000 different items. Vampires, what happened, lads? Anyway, I actually think this game would have been much better as a pure adventure game, akin to the old Legacy of Kain, not Soul Reaver, the old Legacy of Kain type game. As a survival game, I think it's a bit dull. But yeah, it's still enjoyable, but it's quite dull. Now, if you don't mind dull stuff, you'll probably lap this up like the cat that got the cream. Would I recommend it? Well, I'd recommend it for the atmosphere, for the game world, for the general play, but for the survival elements, it does suck the life out of it. It doesn't make you feel like a vampire. Vampire, doing all this bog standard rubbish. No. So yeah, Hit and miss, but still quite playable. So scoring VRising, I'd give it 7 out of 10. That's the review. Thanks for watching. This is PG, signing off. Cheers.